SkyeChip versus Broadcom.
It really all centers around one pretty bold question that's totally capturing the semiconductor industry's attention right now. Can a Malaysian semiconductor company, built from the ground up by former Broadcom engineers, legitimately become the next AI chip powerhouse? I mean, we are smack in the middle of a massive AI infrastructure gold rush, right? So understanding exactly how localized talent plans to carve out a slice of the pie against these entrenched global monopolies, well, that's absolutely crucial for any focused investor tuning into this explainer today. So to unpack all of this, we've got a really clear roadmap for you. First up, Broadcom, the custom titan. Then we'll look at SkyeChip and their alumni ambition. After that, we'll hit the reality of scale, dive into the focused ASIC playbook, and finally, wrap things up with the investor's verdict.
Okay, Section 1, Broadcom, the custom titan. To really understand the challenger here, we first have to understand the absolute peak of the semiconductor mountain. $100 billion. Let that sink in for a second. That is Broadcom's projected AI chip revenue by 2027 alone. It's just a staggering number. And the crazy thing is they actually have a direct line of sight to this figure across 6 major hyperscaler customers. It instantly establishes their sheer undeniable dominance in the AI infrastructure space. Now, you might be wondering, why exactly does Broadcom absolutely dominate? Well, their business model is actually structurally different from, say, NVIDIA's. Rather than just selling standard, off-the-shelf silicon, Broadcom actually co-designs custom AI chips directly with the hyperscalers. We're talking Google, Meta, OpenAI. These custom chips are called ASICs, or application-specific integrated circuits. Basically, they're built for one specific purpose, like running a massive AI workload, which makes them incredibly, unbelievably efficient. Plus, Broadcom has these 10-plus-year relationships with these tech giants, and they hold absolute leadership in the networking silicon that actually connects all these massive AI data centers together. Seriously, they are the ultimate alternative to relying solely on NVIDIA. Moving on to Section 2, SkyeChip, the alumni ambition. And this brings us to a really fascinating challenger, mostly because it was literally born straight out of the incumbent's own DNA. One day, we hope to be as big and as good as Broadcom. Talk about a massive ambition, right? That quote comes directly from Fong Sui Keong, the CEO of SkyeChip. And guys, this isn't just empty talk. Founded back in 2019, SkyeChip is driven by a team of seriously seasoned engineers, boasting over 15 years of industry experience each. Actually, Fong himself was previously a senior operations director at a Broadcom-related company, and their chief technology officer, Ted Chi-Hawk, he was a chief architect over at Intel. So we are talking about elite, top-tier talent stepping out to build their very own legacy over in Malaysia. When you take a look at SkyeChip's roadmap, they are firmly, and I mean firmly, focused on the absolute highest end of integrated circuit design. They're creating the fundamental building blocks for AI and high-performance computing, specifically what's called Network-on-Chip, or NoC IP. Honestly, it's best to think of this like a high-speed communication highway that super efficiently routes all the data around within a complex chip. By mastering these highly specialized building blocks, they are already out there winning contracts for custom ASICs and securing a direct foothold in this crazy AI infrastructure boom.
All right, Section 3, the reality of scale. Now, ambition and top-tier talent are fantastic, but we have to ground ourselves in a really harsh industry reality. Why exactly is semiconductor dominance so unbelievably difficult to replicate?
To get this, we've got to define engineering scale. Think of it kind of like this. Designing a single, beautifully functional chip is a massive achievement, right? It's like building an incredibly complex skyscraper. But delivering hyperscale-grade silicon to absolute behemoths like Google or Meta, that's not just building one skyscraper. That is literally building a flawless, fully interconnected city. It requires an entire ecosystem. You need priority access at top-tier foundries like TSMC. You need a massive global software ecosystem to actually support the chips, advanced 3D packaging infrastructure, and years of deep customer trust. So when you place Broadcom and SkyeChip side by side, the reality gap becomes super tangible. Broadcom is operating with tens of thousands of engineers, guaranteed global manufacturing leverage, and world-class packaging ecosystems. SkyeChip, on the other hand, they're operating with a few hundred engineers, targeting mostly custom regional clients, while still actively developing their manufacturing and packaging leverage. You see, the biggest moat in this industry isn't necessarily individual genius or talent. It's this massive, almost incomprehensible difference in sheer ecosystem scale.
Which naturally leads us to Section 4, the focused ASIC playbook. If SkyeChip doesn't have Broadcom's massive scale, and they don't, how do they actually plan to survive, let alone thrive?
Well, their asymmetric strategy is actually incredibly smart. SkyeChip is absolutely not trying to defeat NVIDIA directly in some head-to-head battle for mass-market GPUs. No way. Instead, they're taking a page literally right out of their former employer's book by following Broadcom's highly focused custom ASIC model. They are targeting niche, super high-margin AI inference and custom computing opportunities. And maybe most importantly, like their CTO noted recently, they do not want to chase one-off projects. They are hyper-prioritizing recurring business and deep long-term integration with just a few really key clients. For any investor analyzing this space right now, there is a massive takeaway here. Success in semiconductors totally doesn't always require becoming a global giant. By executing a highly specialized, localized playbook, a company like SkyeChip can build incredibly profitable niches without ever actually needing to surpass a titan like Broadcom on the global stage. And finally, Section 5, the investor's verdict. Let's really weigh the bull case against the realistic execution risks here. When you're evaluating this market, you really have to strike a delicate balance. On the bull case side, the opportunity is crystal clear, right? SkyeChip has elite, battle-tested engineering leadership that knows exactly how to build AI infrastructure, and they're poised to capture high-margin regional ASIC niches. But you absolutely must weigh that against the execution risk. They're facing massive ecosystem limitations, their packaging infrastructure is still developing, and let's face it, they're going up against intensely well-funded global competition. Broadcom undeniably remains vastly stronger in absolute technological breadth and manufacturing scale. But SkyeChip's highly specialized IP, that makes them a very serious regional player that you absolutely need to be watching. All of this leaves us with one final, really provocative thought. As AI completely reshapes the world economy as we know it, can highly localized engineering talent truly bridge that massive gap of global scale? Or will the sprawling ecosystems of the giant incumbents ultimately just absorb all the value? Honestly, that is the multi-billion-dollar question at the very heart of the semiconductor industry right now. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.